Happy Halloween, everyone, and would you believe it, it's time for the next piece of One Piece, and chapter 1163 was not released on Halloween. No, it was not. In fact, would you believe me if I said that this is one of those ones that, One Piece of all things, slipped through the cracks? I swear I reviewed this, and I swear that I, at the very least, recorded it when I found out that I didn't actually have the review up on YouTube. And I said, oh, I must have had the raw footage, must have recorded, and forgot to edit the video. No, none of that happened. And now we're here on the Hallows Eve. You know, we're October 30th, right before Halloween, and I'm sitting here going, I gotta record this and get the shit out because the latest chapter just dropped, chapter 1164. Just at the time of recording this video, it just dropped, and I'm looking really forward to reading it. But I wanted to get this review done first, then I'll read that one and hopefully get that one out by Saturday, Sunday. But I'm so far behind on all my videos, so apologies for that and in advance. Now, anyways, let's move on to the chapter. A lot of people have already covered this, and obviously this is really late, so I don't think I need to go too far in depth, other than I fucking called it! Domi Reversi on rocks. I told you guys, I told everyone, Garp slander needs to end, because the man is here. So he got Domi Reversi, and Roger and Roger and Garp had to team up to take him down. I've said this on multiple occasions. I said it on the Baroque Works podcast, Nia Hammond's podcast. Definitely go check it out. It happens generally every break week between One Piece. And I mentioned that before because I'm a huge Garp stan. I suffered Garp slander for years. And I was saying it, and here it is. Like people love to attach it. It's almost like they wanted to double down after the whole Galaxy Impact and stuff, and realizing that Garp is actually like one of the strongest fighters in his prime. He's like one of the best of all time, period. There was, and those slander people finally decided to double down and say, yeah, well, he's pro-slavery, because they're butthurt. They're butthurt that they lost their argument for a decade strong, and so they're trying to grasp at straws. You know what I'm saying? So here we're seeing another example of take your Garp slander out of my internet, because let's go. Saturn turns into Emu. Emu controls him. It's nuts. The Marines all get stabbed. The pirates all get stabbed. It's absolute chaos. Roger is worried here. He's sort of like, what's going on here? Like why are some of the people why are some of my crew down and stuff like that? And even Garp is there with the Marines and going, like, what the hell is happening here? Scopper's just saying, like, I have no idea. Scopper, he's like, I'm on treasure duty right now, Roger. Like, what's up? And Roger's like, fine. Well, you give these guys back up, Gavon, and I'm gonna go check this shit out. Garp is like, what is going on with this monster? What is happening right now? And this is immediately when the Marines respond. It's like, I don't know, it was Saint Saturn of the Goros say. He just started transforming before our eyes. And Garp's standing there going, the Five Elders, huh? Never seen them before. So confirmed, Garp knew about them, but never actually interacted with the Gorosei up until this point. And then immediately stands there and says, looks about right, the kind of freak, one of those maggots. And they're like, Garp, you cannot say that. And it's like, alright, Garp is immediately already anti-government. He might work, once again, I compared him many times to like a colonel in the military. High ranking, but can't make the big decisions with the president. You know what I'm saying? Or the police commissioner. When the mayor and the governor are telling you no. You know what I mean? He has a certain level of power, a certain level of control, but I think that people who read shonen battle manga assume that big fists crush all and that solve all problem. They're like Gronk or some shit with this. Anyways, yeah, and unfortunately, that is not how the One Piece world works. We've known that for many, many years. It's a political nightmare. You know what I mean? And but Garp is one of the outlandish people who's like, no, I do not support the Celestial Dragons. I do not support the Gorosei. I support the world government's idea that piracy is bad and we should have law and order on multiple islands. We should protect the innocent. But it doesn't mean that my boss's boss aren't assholes. You know? I don't blame the guy who runs the Amazon drivers here in the farthest east you can get in Canada. I don't begrudge him if I don't like Jeff Bezos. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I still buy a Windows computer and don't blame the tech guy if I don't like Bill Gates. You know, like these things are just weird to me. So either way, Garp is there. He's just like, all right, we got to take this guy out. Well, I got an excuse to take him out. Rox wants to go toe to toe with him, and Emu refers to him as Davy Jones. And we know that Emu has met him before in the flower room. Surprisingly, he recognizes him as Davy Jones, but Rox says, you got it wrong. I've never even met the man. It's not me. However, promises are meant to be kept. And Emu's like, what exactly does that mean? Your kind should be erased from history. So Rox knows a few things and stuff. Rox takes this guy's friggin' talon off as he tries to strike him, and he's like, this ain't just your world, and stuff, and it's awesome. Garp goes forward and goes, we're helping him out, and the Marines are like, wait, Vice Admiral, which side? Which side are you planning on helping? And he's like, well, that thing looks like a monster, so hockey time. And I'm just like, Garp, my goat over here. Garp, my goat. Okay? Enough with the Garp slander. Just because he didn't fix the entire One Piece world doesn't mean that he's to blame for everything like Garp slanderers are trying to say. You know? So anyways, we see the pirates and the Marines and stuff like that. See, I swear I've talked about this. Like, goddamn, when... Did I lose a recording or am I just going nuts? I don't know. Anyways, they continue to go through. We see Captain John deciding to take all the treasure because he actually has kids fruit. He's got the magnet fruit and he's grabbing all the treasure to himself. And he's like, it's finally time for me to ixnay out of the Rocks crew. We see Dragon trying to still run away with Baby Shanks. And Scopper, Gabon, and everyone, that like all the treasure and everything's going wild. Like there's so much happening here on God Valley, and it's absolutely nuts. So we also see one of the other members of the Rocks crew, Gonzui. He is the one who actually stops Captain John, who uses Big Eater to take in all the treasure, and he's like, yes, this will be wonderful. I'll make off with all the treasure. Once again, Captain John's treasure. Interesting. So the magnet power takes them all through. Roger's still running forth. As I said, Gonzui attacks Captain John, takes him out. Supposedly, by the looks of it, takes him out. Dragon gets caught in the mayhem, and we see the treasure chests flying and stuff. So maybe this is how Shanks ends up in a treasure chest, of course. Shiki berates Gonzui for doing that and says, oh, wait, why did you do that? Well, he wasn't going to split the treasure with us, man. He was going to take everything for himself in peace. And he's just like, each one of these chests is worth 1 billion berries. Now, 1 billion berries. Each. I'm counting dozens, plural, of chests that I've seen throughout this God Valley flashback. So either Gonzui really fucking can't count, or there is more money on God Valley than the entirety of the top 5. You could pay the wanted posters of the top 10 pirates in the world, and there's more money on God Valley. That's fucked. Because we're just going off the idea. Like, and yes, I'm including the $5 billion for Roger, the $5 billion for Whitebeard, the you know what I mean? The $3 billion, the $3 billion, $3 billion. I'm saying that we see at least the top 5's bounties on screen in treasure chests, and I can assume that that's not all of them. So assuming that this is just within Captain John's range right now, we're assuming this is all the treasure. That's a bit of a wide assumption. I'm saying that potentially God Valley has more treasure than, I mean, wow. Or Gonsby just sucks at math. There's always that possibility, okay? As Barbosa once said, oh, a lot of big words in there, missy. We not but humble pirates. What is it that you want? Well, they want berries. So, at the end of the day, Gonsby, it's just like, you know, he was going to keep it all to himself, and then Shiki's noticing something. Either way, as I said, Garp is on his way. Kaido, Whitebeard, and Rocks are facing down this emu creature type of thing. Big Mom shows up and is like, Kaido, I'm going to kill you for this. And Big Mom looks her best. Honestly, the hat works, but I like the fact that she's rocking the bandana. You know, she's rocking the pirate do-rag right now. I think Big Mom's never looked better than when she's just, not with the hat. Like, the hat's cool, but I think she looks best rocking the do-rag. I really do. I think she looks best that way, you know? Sort of how some people prefer Luffy wearing the hat versus not wearing the hat sort of idea. I think that Big Mom looks at her best right now. She looks awesome. And Whitebeard looks amazing in his hat. Whitebeard looks amazing in his hat. So Kaido's rearing up. Big Mom, Whitebeard, Rocks, Roger, Garp. Double spread. Holy shit. This is the thumbnail. This is absolutely the thumbnail. Divine Departure. Galaxy Impact. Pandemonium. Borrow Breath that Kaido hasn't come up with a name yet, which is right on the nose. I love that. I love that he's like Dragon Hyper Type Beam. You know, Gyarados style, you know. I love that Kaido is like, he's brand new to the fruit. He doesn't know. He doesn't have a named attack yet. I love it. And then we have, of course, Ikoku Sovereignty and Chok Hakua and stuff. So we have, literally, right here, barring at this moment, and I would say they're still technically at this moment, maybe, well, see, Rayleigh can clash with Kaido and Big Mom at this era. I would say, you know, Rayleigh could, yeah. So, maybe I'm forgetting anyone else, but outside of Rayleigh and Sengoku, so Rayleigh and Sengoku are the only two really here who could be in the argument or possibly the paragraph. But these are the greatest pirates, the strongest characters in the verse, and at this moment, I'm going to say it, they're stronger than current Straw Hats. These guys are stronger than the current Admirals. Anybody you saw at Marineford, anybody you saw at Wano, anything you saw. This is the pinnacle right here. Peak power. And I don't think we've seen it surpassed yet in the story. And they're all attacking Emu at fucking once, and it's beautiful. They're like, alright, we'll settle all our differences later. Fuck this demonic piece of satanic shit. Let's get this goddamn, this is One Piece. We might be just pirates and somehow went to the moon and also time travel, and somehow we have Wi-Fi with Vegapunk and shit. But we draw the line, ladies and gentlemen. We draw the line at Christianity symbolism. We're drawing the line. Get out of our One Piece. One Piece might have Thriller Bark horror stories and friggin', you know, odes to Atlantis and all these other fables. But no, we might include every genre in One Piece, but we draw the damn line at the Da Vinci Code. We're drawing the line. And that's what all the top tiers said. Rocks, Roger, Garp, Whitebeard, they all said no. Out of our One Piece, out of our One Piece. And it was glorious. It was fan-fucking-tastic. I loved it. Beautiful double-page spread. And it seemed like Emu wasn't hurt from this, but seemingly like the damage was all hit, because it seemingly like warped, like destroyed the shadowy form that he was in, or she was in, and then all of a sudden unleashes a giant hockey blast, which takes out a lot of Marines, takes out a lot of pirates, takes out a lot of people. Rayleigh's still running with Shocky. He's like, listen, my job is to protect you. I ain't making this mistake again. So once again, other than Sengoku and Rayleigh not being here, there's really nobody else. Kong probably is right on this level, but you know, that's more of an assumption than anything. We don't know who the world's strongest swordsman is at this point. I would argue that right now, Rayleigh's the only real legitimate candidate missing from that ultimate attack. And it doesn't seem like it did anything because, like, I don't know this because it looked like it did something. It looked like it took him out. But then he's slowly reforming is the way I took it. What do you guys think? Like, it looked like he was hit with it, but now he's slowly reforming his body again. You know, regen hacks. That shit got old during the 90s Dragon Ball era, but whatever. And then decides to Rinnegan eye panel and do a giant hockey blast. And as I said, Rayleigh's running away with Shocky. Shanks did once again Naruto style, doing a Woodno clone, or what's the jutsu? The jutsu, which is like, ha, that was only a wood log, and they replace themselves. I forget what it's called in English. It's not duplicate or clone jutsu, because it's a clone, but the clones don't need to have the wood. It's not replacement. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is that Shanks started to crawl away and found a treasure chest with shiny shit and was like, oh, I'm Shanks D. Crow. Alrighty, shiny shit. And that was the end of that. So that's how Shanks ended up in the treasure chest. Dragon has no idea what happened. Emu, as I said, is starting to reform again. So I believe that attack did damage. It's just there's regen hacks. It's Majin Buu style up in this bitch. So Kaido's just like, alright, well, this is weird. And then Big Mom and Kaido are arguing in the background. Like, I can't spit it out. I ate the fruit. Get the fuck over it, Lin Lin. And she's like, you bastard, and stuff. It's like, alright, we don't have time for this right now. There's a giant fucking spider Majin Buu demon over here. We just wrecked their shit, and it seemingly did nothing. Though the hockey blast that Emu did seemingly did nothing to the top tiers either. So, stalemate? I don't know. So, this is where Emu says, I can see them running through the distant forest. And they're talking like, Roger and Garp are also arguing, saying like, oh, I'm the one who like blew him up initially. It was my attack that actually, because they all attacked at once. It obviously atomized Emu. And I was right, that he was reforming. And they're all like, yeah, that was totally me. They're like, no, that was mine. And it's like, alright. So, they did damage, it's just regen hacks exist. And then, Rox is just like, wait a minute, what is he talking about? Running through the forest? What's going on? And he was like, New Davies, woman and child striving so hard to live. And this is where Rox is like, whatever you're thinking, don't slice. And it's like, holy shit. Rox, family man through and through. Garp is wondering what's happening. And then Rox immediately gets stabbed by the tendrils. But seemingly no damage taken. Stabbed by the tendrils of Emu. It says, Mew, I will do nothing. You will take out your own bloodline. Slaughter thy wife and child. And how did Emu know that it was Rock's wife and child? And then Domi, Reversi, End of chapter. So the whole Domi Reversi thing was thought or theorized to be not possible on people with a level of Conqueror's Hockey and or aware that it was happening and would be able to stop it. Assuming that the next chapter, which once again just dropped as of this recording, but I haven't read it, assuming that this Domi Reversi does actually take place, assuming that Rox doesn't flex and go, fuck you, which maybe he does, but assuming the Domi Reversi does take place, and it looks like it is because we see the teeth, you know, forming like the vampire, the fangs and stuff, assuming it does take place, whether perfected or not, maybe willpower, maybe Conqueror's Hockey does have something to do, but assuming it takes him over, this once again explains why Garp and Roger had to team up and take him out. And I already explained that, I believe, last review and the review before that, talking about how Garp was not, because of all the memes and all the people making posts and stuff like that, about how Garp is just as bad as Harold, you know, trying to stop a man from just protecting his wife and kids, protecting his family, trying to change the world. Maybe not from the best degree. Once again, Rox is not a good man. He's not a good pirate. He's not Luffy. You know, he's not... He's a pirate at the end of the day. They kill people. You know, you have to remember the common pirate is Arlong, Don Krieg. Those are common pirates. And most pirates in the world behave like them. So as heroic as the pirates that we've been following and fan favorites like Luffy and Law and people like that seemingly are, most pirates, given the chance, will be Blackbeard, will be Arlong. So, just so we're clear, Garp is trying to police the world from piracy. There are 99 evils in the world, and he's trying to face one of them. You know, like, that's just the way it is. And right here, we're seeing that all that slander goes out the window at the very least for the whole, Garp, killed Rox, who was just trying to save his wife and child from the Celestial Dragons. It's clear to me now that Roger and Garp teamed up. I wonder what happened to Whitebeard and everyone else in the scenario, but I'm sure we'll learn that in the next few chapters. That my theory came correct. He got Domi Reversi'd, and now he went evil, and he's likely to either, as I've already said before, he's going to ask them in a moment, like, please, like, I don't want to kill my wife and kids, please end my life, or something like that. Or, which, if he's Domi Reversi'd, like, I said that in, like, 2 other videos, but at this point, I'm thinking more, maybe they don't even know. I'm now, my favorite one, or not favorite, but just the one I think is most likely, is that he goes Domi Reversi'd. He doesn't have any control. Conqueror's Hockey has nothing to do with it. And he goes absolutely berserker mode. Garp and Roger never realize there's 2 possibilities. So that happens. Let's say berserker mode, Domi Reversi'd. Garp and Roger team up and they kill him. Either they... right now I'm thinking they kill him and they never realize that Rox was under control, you know, or like the Berserker mode was just Rox being Rox sort of idea, like they don't realize that it was Emu the whole time for whatever reason. A little weird, but they don't know what Domi Reversi is, and they're seeing it happen, but they don't know what it means or what it does, right? So they're just as confused as chaos right now on the battlefield. What if Roger and Garp fought and defeated Rox and just assumed that the Rox just went mad with bloodlust and have no idea that this was Emu the whole time? That right now is my most prevailing theory. The second one is he goes Berserker mode, Domi Reversi, they defeat him, they kill him, and then they realize at the end that he was manipulated and mind controlled, or whatever you want to call it, Domi Reversi, the entire time. and they don't realize that until they strike the killing blow. That's number 2. Number 3, as I said, is the one I brought up before, but once again, maybe that's my Garp bias. Because there's so much Garp slander, I sort of end up with a little bit of Garp bias for the pushback, and I'm just like, well, what if Garp was actually, Garp and Roger were asked, like, by Rocks, like, I don't have control of my body, you must slay me now. You know, that's been done in every shonen, I swear to date. Like, someone's like, you must defeat me for the good of the world, for the good of your loved one, for the good of the people, for the good of the kingdom. How many times has that been done? Seinen, shoujo, shonen, doesn't matter. I must have read that 100 times, if not more. So, I wouldn't be shocked by that. But I think my other 2 theories are more likely. But once again, the chapter just dropped. So, I'll say once again to everybody, where this will be released tomorrow anyways. Happy Halloween to everyone. No matter how you celebrate it. Hopefully you stay safe. Because there's major hurricane going through a few areas right now in the Western world. So trick-or-treating is kind of looking a little dicey in my corner of the world right now. But we'll wait and see what happens. You know, the weather report hour by hour. But I hope you all enjoy a very wonderful Hallows Eve. And yeah, maybe we'll do a more Halloween when I'm not so financially burdened and stressed and busy and stuff like that. Maybe we'll do a more Halloween themed thing for next year. You know, something separate. Do a watch party or something like that. Maybe who knows for Halloween. But for right now, it's just a late review on Halloween. But most of you are probably busy. Where it's a Friday night Halloween. A lot of people are probably going to Halloween parties, whether child-friendly or adult Halloween parties and stuff. Definitely have fun. Stay safe. And yeah, looking forward to, once I'm done this review, to read the next chapter and see what I got right, what I got wrong. Knowing my luck, I got everything wrong, and it's totally different. There's a 4th theory that I didn't even come up with. I had over a week to figure it out, and I couldn't figure out that 4th theory. So, anyways, hope you guys all enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe. Sorry for the delay. And hopefully, chapter 1164 will be out in a very timely fashion this weekend. Look forward to it. Hope you are. Like, comment, subscribe. See you guys next time. Happy Halloween.